The hardest part of like making millions of dollars and being successful in business is becoming the person who is able to do the thing. That's the hardest part. Hardest part's not doing things that'll make you $1 million. That's not the hardest part. Finding there being a big enough pool of people with a painful enough problem. That's not the hard part. The hardest part is you becoming the person who has enough intestinal fortitude and grit to go down into the laboratory, the cave, right? The drawing board, whatever you want to call it, and obsess over this problem long enough to find an elegant, effortless, effective solution. That's the part. Because most people don't have enough intestinal fortitude, they don't have enough stick-to-itiveness, they don't have enough grit to last through the learning curve, to become the person who can do the thing that makes them deserve to have the stuff. You can have as much as you'd like, as long as you are willing to do the right thing in order to have it. People who attempt to have without doing, you know what we call them? We call them criminals, right? I want to have this thing, but I'm unwilling to do the right thing. I'm unwilling to go do the work to have the money, so I'll rob a bank. We call those people criminals. They want to have, but they're unwilling to do. People who are willing to do and don't have, we call them frustrated. Why? Because they've not become the person. They're frustrated because they're willing to do the work, but the work they're doing isn't producing the outcome they desire. Why? Because they haven't gone down in the dirt and done the dirty work. Be a little, do a little, do a little, have a little. Be a lot, do a lot, do a lot, have a lot. It's how everything in life works. Everyone has more bandwidth than they think they have, and they're capable of more than they think they're capable of, right? Your capacity and your ability are never the same. Your capacity is always greater than your ability. The principle is this: disruption always follows intention. That's principle number one. When you decide to do something good, the first thing that shows up is something hard. Okay? But if you keep on going, even when it's hard, eventually that I can't will turn into I can't stop. Repetitive use of a limited ability will always produce an increased capacity. So I keep doing what I can't do until I can't stop doing it. And then I have become a different person. So I have a formula: MS times SS times TS equals assets. What does that mean? And income follows assets. And by the way, income follows assets is a phrase I got from Daniel Priestley, so I'm gonna give him full credit for that. Income follows assets, and Daniel's brilliant. If you don't have assets, then your income is limited. You're your only asset. So you go to work for a day, you get a day's pay. But when you begin to acquire and build and accumulate assets, those assets have income following them, right? So what is MS times SS times TS? Mindset times skill set times tool set equals assets. And so it always starts with mindset, because if you have the wrong mindset, you're not gonna last through the learning curve long enough to develop the skill set. I got started in sales October of 1985, selling insurance and investments in a financial services company. Guess what? I was so bad. It took me 18 months to make my first sale, and I did a lot of presentations in that 18 months. People say, well, why didn't you quit? I didn't have a plan B. I had to learn how to do this. It was the only arena I had ever seen where anybody was making $10,000 a month. In 1985, $10,000 a month was a fortune. I didn't know anybody else making $10,000 a month. I wasn't making $10,000 a year. But I met somebody who was making $10,000 a month, selling insurance and investments, and building a team of insurance and investment agents on that team. Oh, I'm gonna do this. And so I didn't give up because I didn't have anything else to do. So I'm gonna figure this thing out. I finally made my first sale in April of 1987. Within a couple of months of that time period, I was the top salesman in our office every month. How did you do that? Easy. I lasted through the learning curve long enough to find all the ways that wouldn't work to make a sale. All I had left was ways that would. When I found the ways that would work to make a sale, I put those things on rinse and repeat. Too many entrepreneurs find something that works and they get bored with it. When I find something that works, I don't get bored with it. I get paid with it. I put that thing on rinse and repeat so fast, you'll think I was a water faucet.
Can we go that 18-month stretch? I feel like that, that's an easy story to talk about now, but I can imagine being in that 18-month stretch. I mean, that's a grind, and that's not just a grind that like feels like, okay, I'm gonna wake up early today and work hard. No, that's like life being hard.
You don't know it's not going to be 36 months in the 17th month.
Exactly, and
you just know I am going to do this until. See, some people don't have an until mentality. They work on it until they get tired. They're going to work on it until somebody shows them another shiny object, but they're not going to work on it until they figure it out. But anyway, go ahead. What are your
because I think this is so fascinating. I'm going off script here, but I'm fascinated by those kind of 18 months because you say you didn't have plan B, and I think a lot of people would say they don't have plan E or plan B, but reality forces a life B where it's like, now I needed to get a different job because I needed to pay bills, and now I'm tired and I come home at the end of the night and I don't have space in my life or capacity or slack.
Right.
What does that person do who had all the right intentions, life forced them down a different path, and now they're feeling like they don't have slack?
Everyone has more bandwidth than they think they have, and they're capable of more than they think they're capable of. You are capable of more than you are able to do, right? Your capacity and your ability are never the same. Your capacity is always greater than your ability. And so by continuing to put in work and effort in a limited ability, okay, I would do the illustration right here, but sometimes when I'm doing a seminar, I will talk about how disruption always follows intention. And I remember when I was out of shape, I used to weigh 225 pounds, which is, what is that? That's 45 pounds heavier than I am right now.
Okay.
And I remember I would drive the golf cart up to the tee box, walk up on the tee box, take 3 practice swings, and feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack. I'm like, with 3 practice swings. I'm like, no, this ain't it. This ain't how we going out. We ain't doing this. We ain't gonna have a heart attack on the 3rd tee, because I can't, no, this is a hard no. And I decided I was gonna get back in shape. And I started working out. And the first thought that came to me when I started working out was, you fool. Who told you this was gonna work? And so I decided I was gonna start doing push-ups. Well, when I was young, I could do 100 push-ups without thinking about it. Well, I get started again, I can't do 30. And maybe day 1 I can do 13. But day 2 I can only do 8. We're going in the wrong direction. This is clearly not working, but it is working. It's just not working for me yet. It's working on me. And so the principle is this: disruption always follows intention. That's principle number 1. Disruption always follows intention. When you decide to do something good, the first thing that shows up is something hard. Okay? But if you keep on going, even when it's hard, eventually that I can't will turn into I can't stop. Now I could probably do 70 push-ups now if I wanted to. Like, I could probably drop and do 70 push-ups without even thinking about stopping. And I'm 63, I'll be 64 next Wednesday, right? Like, I woke up this morning, as I do almost every morning. I don't on Saturdays generally, and I didn't yesterday, but like, I wake up at 5 o'clock. The first thing I do is I get on the assault bike for 30 minutes. And then 3 times a week, I'll put on my weighted vest, and I'll do reverse pull-ups. So I'll pull myself up and hold myself there as long as I can and let myself down. I'll do reverse pull-ups, I'll do reverse dips. Like, I have this whole routine that I do. But when I first started working out, I couldn't even do 30 push-ups. Well, how did I go from not being able to do 30, only doing 13, the next day only doing 8, and now I can do 70 without even thinking about it? Because this principle is so beautiful. Repetitive use of a limited ability will always produce an increased capacity. Repetitive use of a limited ability will always produce an increased capacity. So I keep doing what I can't do until I can't stop doing it. And then I have become a different person. Now, here's what that means. When I first started working out, when I was 225 pounds, I was fat and weak. Now, I have become a person who is lean and strong, even though I'm 30 years older. What I say to the person who says, but I have no bandwidth left. Good. Now you intensify.
Wow. I can imagine what that would feel like hearing that, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Like easy for you to say, bro.
Yeah.
Is it easy for me to say? I'm 63, soon to be 64 years old. Like, I get my heart racing every morning.
Yeah.
I cold plunge multiple times per week. Is it easy for me to say? Yes, it's easy for me to say. Do you know why it's easy for me to say? Because I've done the hard stuff. I did it when it was hard. That's when I do something that's hard consistently and persistently, that's what makes it easy for me to say. And everybody, if it's hard for somebody to hear, that's when you need to hear it most. If you just trust the process, that the process will do what only the process can do, eventually what's hard for you to hear will become easy for you to do.
Can I ask a different version of this? Because I'm fascinated by this idea of leadership.
Please do.
Yeah, no, I'm fascinated by this idea of leadership. And leadership to me is the ability to create inflection points. Now, that comes with a tricky question. One is...
Define what you mean when you say inflection points, if you don't mind, just so I can be with you. I don't want to get left behind.
Sure. Imagine, if I keep doing the same thing, I'm not going to reach the destination I want. Leadership is the ability to create that turn in the road to point somewhere else. Okay. Now, where that gets tricky is... when do I know this is the moment to just grit my teeth and keep going forward? Because that actually is where I want to go. Versus I'm getting enough cues because I've done all the things you've asked. I've worked on the roots. I've been willing to work hard. I have been working hard. I've been doubling down, and it's still not working. Like, is the choice to keep going, or is this a moment to actually take some feedback and pivot?
It could be either.
Okay.
And I don't know how to answer. I don't know how to answer that for individuals. I will say this though. I think one of the reasons people give up on something that would have worked for them and has been working on them, oftentimes is the fact they have goals and they think they know when it's supposed to happen. Right? And because it didn't happen it's not that it didn't work that they have a problem with. It didn't work in the time that they allotted themselves. But see, I'm probably the only so-called teacher person, so-called guru. I don't think of myself as a guru, but a so-called guru that will ever tell you that setting goals is a bad idea, in my opinion, right? And the reason I believe setting goals is a bad idea is because setting goals says, I want to have this outcome by this time. Well, I can look at the outcome and I can determine that I'd like to have that outcome. But if the next thing I do is set a time for that, I'm setting myself up for disaster. When I look at an outcome and I look at it, that's an outcome I desire to have. What I do is I reverse engineer, backwards extrapolate all of the inputs that I can discover that will produce that output. And then I make those inputs my routine. And then I trust that that output will happen when the gestation period of the seeds of those inputs that I'm planting, it's time for them to come to fruition. And I don't get to determine when that is. I just get to determine that I'm going to be the person who keeps on doing that until it shows up. And I'm going to tell you something. I was an entrepreneur for 14 years before I had my first six-figure year. Now, some people say, well, that's too long. 14 years was going to go by anyway. I was going to be making some amount at the end of 14 years. Now, I'm not saying it has to take everybody 14 years, but that's what it was. That's what it took me. Now, would it have been nice had it taken less time? Sure. Would it have been better? I'm not sure. If it had happened sooner, I may have gotten some results that were from one thing that I was doing, or that came from one thing that I was doing, but I wasn't aware that I was doing that thing. I was aware of something else. And so because correlation is not always causation, and oftentimes we think it is, I think the result came from one thing, but it actually came from something else. And so now I've misappropriated and misassigned what actually caused me to be successful, which is why people can have success once and they think they know how they became successful. And then they change I want to go do something else, I'm bored. And then the next 17 things they do flop because correlation does not always equal causation. And so they thought they knew the reason they succeeded, when the real reason they succeeded, they were the right person doing the right thing at the right time at the right place. And it was a crescendo.
So, they think it might have been the doing, but it might have actually been the being that actually allowed them to. Wow.
Exactly. Right. The person they had already become, when they showed up in that particular space, it produced a result. But they think it's because I'm the man. Like, I can do it. I'm pretty good at quite a few things. Like, I've got my guitar over here, but I'm probably not going to become the #1 pop star in the world in the next 6 months, regardless of how much I practice. We just have to be okay with when I was on YouTube for 14 years before I knew YouTube paid people for videos. I was on YouTube for 15 years before I turned on monetization. And I was monetizable. I just didn't know it was a thing. And guess what? When I learned it was a thing, I made a decision, which is one of the 6 steps of transformation. I made a decision. I am going to produce 1 YouTube video a week for the next 10 years. Would you like to know what my objective was?
Please.
To see if I can get good at creating YouTube videos. I'm still doing one. That was 3 years ago, by the way. I had no, well, we're going to get 1 million subscribers in a year. We're going to get 100,000 subscribers in 2 years. I didn't know. I'm going to produce I'm going to produce and post 1 YouTube video a week for the next 10 years and see if I can get good. And in my own humble opinion, I'm not trying to be humble and I'm not fishing for compliments. I'm not good yet. But I'm going to be. You know why? I'm going to keep on producing videos. Now, it happened to turn into 1 million subscribers in less than 3 years for me. It happened to be, but that wasn't the objective. It might turn into 10 million in the next 7. And it might not turn into 2 million in the next 7. I don't care because I don't have a goal. I have an input objective. I'm going to produce a video and post it every week to see if I can get good. But as a result of that, so here's what happened. Here's one of the things that happened recently as a result of that. My YouTube channel gets, 300,000, 200,000 views a month. I'm sorry. I don't even know how many. 1.6 million views a month. That's what it is. 1.6 million views a month. And we got, I'm looking for the number of subscribers we gained last month. Oh, we get in the last 28 days, we got 316,000 watch time hours in the last 28 days on my business channel. That doesn't include my Bible study channel. So if you take 316,000 and you divide, there are 8,460 hours in a year. So if you divide that 316, that's almost 40 years of attention. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 40 years of attention that people around the world have paid attention to me in the last 28 days. Well, that's a lot of attention. Well, guess what happened? I'm doing a conference in Dallas, May 30th and 40th, 2025. May 30th and 40th. Yeah, right. Okay, Myron. May 30th and 31st, 2025 in Dallas, Texas. We sent out the first email for it last night. We've already sold $14,950 worth of tickets to that event. Why? Because people find me on YouTube and they like what I say. Do you know why? Because my objective for being on YouTube is not selling them something. My objective to being on YouTube, I don't ask them to like my videos. I don't ask them to share them. I don't ask them to subscribe. I just show up and share. And then they can figure out whether or not they want to do a deep dive or not. We do put links in our descriptions and all that, but oh well, if somebody wants to find it, I just trust that they're smart. If somebody wants to subscribe, I trust that they're smart enough to subscribe. I'm not asking for anything. I'm just showing up, doing my absolute level best to share something valuable to people who care. And when I do happen to launch something, we send out an email. I haven't gone live on YouTube talking about it. I haven't gone live on TikTok talking about it. Haven't gone live on Instagram talking about it. Just sent out one email last night. And I looked right before I came in here and we sold $14,950 worth of tickets to that event. 46 people have already registered for that event. We sent out the email last night.
Wow. It goes back
it's only going to hold 230 people.
It goes back to that idea you were talking earlier about, finding a big group of people that have a problem. And it
Exactly.
sounds like,
Exactly.
I want to go back to something else you talked about with this idea of assets producing income. And I think that's a really fascinating concept. And I'm wondering about somebody who's sitting here thinking, I've been working hard for 10 or 15 years and I built up this nest egg and I went and bought a house and it's my biggest asset and I put as much as I can into it. Like, is that what you're talking about with assets, or is it something else that you would encourage them to do?
Definitely not talking about that. That's something they can use. If your house doesn't make you money, it's not the kind of asset I'm talking about. I'm talking about assets that create cash flow. Right? If your house is an asset, if you're renting it out long-term or short-term, right? Then it's an asset. If you're using your house, if you got a spare bedroom in your house that you're using as an office to run an online business, and you're making like YouTube automations or YouTube videos, or you're a TikTok influencer and you got a TikTok shop, or you're an Amazon influencer or whatever, you've got some kind of business venture, then your house can be an asset. If you're not doing any of that, it's not an asset. Not the kind of asset I'm talking about. Here's the kind of asset I'm talking about. I wrote this book 19 years ago. This is an asset. I wrote this book called From the Trash Man to the Cash Man. I used to be a trash man, making $6.25 an hour. Our business has generated over $30,000 a day in revenue for the last 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
365 days a year. And I work part-time. Now, why am I telling you that? This book, From the Trash Man to the Cash Man, is an asset. Now, it doesn't make me a fortune, but it averages about $110,000 a year. Right? I did this work 19 years ago. This is what I mean when I say income follows asset. I did this work. You know how much money I made when I was writing this book? You know how much money I made for writing this when I was writing it? None. In fact, I spent about $36,000 to learn how to write this book and then to write it. I spent $36,000, but I wrote it 19 years ago. It pays me about $110,000 a month. I mean, a year. This book right here, I wrote in 2021, 4 years ago. This book makes me about $42,000 a month, this one book, right? Just those 2 books make me $500,000 a year. Those 2 books are assets that income can follow. Every YouTube video that I post on my business channel and my Bible study channel makes money. What does that mean? Well, let me see. I'm just gonna look really quickly so I can give you what I mean when I say income follows assets. So I have a YouTube channel. Let me see, content. Let's go by views. Number of views more than 100,000. Okay, apply. So, okay, so I have a video that I create your own economy from 1 month ago, right? That's a video I created 1 month ago, create your own economy. So I'm gonna look at this video. I have no idea what I'm about to find. That video in 1 month has made me $2,800. That one video. So that's an asset that income can follow. I did another video a month ago called How to Make, Manage, and Multiply Money. It's got 261,000 views. This is from a month ago. That video has made me $7,500. So those 2 videos alone have made me $10,000 in the last 30 days. 2 videos. So that's what I mean when I say income follows assets. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And I think that, it demystifies a lot of this for people, I think, because, you look at some of the really successful entrepreneurs of this era, and what are they often doing right now is they're creating content, or they're doing things that allow them to kind of, even though that content may or may not pay them, at the level that matters to them. But it's
right. The level that matters to them yet.
Yeah, exactly. But it's doing something else, and it's planting these seeds that has, future potential, or kind of the right kind of foundation to them. And I think that that's really helpful for people to hear in terms of kind of sorting through where do I put my time and my dollars in terms of actually making those inroads.
100%. 3 years ago, Tyler, on March 31st, 2022, when I decided I'm gonna make a YouTube video a week for 10, you know how many subscribers I had that day? The day before I decided, I had 10,500 subscribers, March 31st, 2022. This is May of 2025, and we've got 1,080,000 something subscribers. Wow. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying that to say, like, I had no earthly idea it would do that, but I also didn't care. That wasn't my objective. My objective was to be the person who's faithful at putting in the inputs and trust that the outputs would take care of themselves, and they will be whatever they're supposed to be.